just have a thing to say. Why not put it out there? Why not make it more available? Like, I sometimes forget when people are like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a coach. I'm like, oh, and I also write books. I'm also an author. Like I
Yeah.
kind of forget because it's not like a thing where I have this a lot of energy and like self-identity attached to it. But I know that the imagined hoops that people think you have to go through in order to be an author or a real writer, whatever real writers do.
Ugh.
Like,
hmm Sit inside for 8 hours every day,
right,
toiling
full
over
time,
manuscript,
real
full
writer,
time,
book
no food
advances, all
until
this stuff.
it's
I'm like,
written.
no, there's no book advance that was going to pay me what my company pays me.
hmm
No one's giving me that advance.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a funny thing that like a lot of times the ways I've been able to like create things has been not needing to identify as an artist or as a highfalutin author.
Yeah. Which by the way, I see as a way of like a beautiful example of following ease
Ease.
because it's not it, to tackle these like identity questions, that's adding layers of obstacles. And like, then you have to reckon with the fact of like, what does it mean to be an author? If I claim that title, what are people going to think? But you just allowed yourself kind of an out. And as a result, there are like many beautiful works that are helping many, many people published by you out in the world. So
Hopefully.
I will also like put a not hopefully. I mean, you've had like
Yes.
reviews on your work of unless
Yes.
people are lying or you like purchase these reviews, which
I
it
did
doesn't seem
not.
like you have. I don't think that's even up for debate. Like I think they have helped many, many people and they would not likely exist, at least in the format that they do, and at least not on the timeline that they have been shared with the world, if you had like required yourself to follow the hard path, or if you'd like undercut this idea that's like we can do what feels easy sometimes if it gets our work out into the world.
Yeah. Or like, I need an English degree to go write a book. I'm like, I
That
need
is such a
spell
load of
check and
shit.
hopefully an editor that can catch the things that I don't.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, that's to your like earlier point about creating and being able to like be in your own process and still create things that are helpful to other people. That has been like my key. Is like if I just feel like I have something that could help somebody, I'm going to try to put that out in the
hmm
world. And it doesn't require a degree, it doesn't require a bunch of money, it doesn't require like a big marketing plan. It's like, I'm just going to write this book.
Yeah. And those steps, I also want to be clear, especially to the people who are like, if it's easy, it doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
Taking those steps is how you build, if your end goal is to publish a wildly successful best-selling novel through the traditional publishing streams, you taking these steps now is going to make that easier. It's like steps on the journey to that rather than if you sit back waiting for perfection and don't create anything, it's going to be so much harder to go after that big goal because you're not like building, like, look at all of the skills you're building. And I'm not even saying it's in pursuit of that end goal, but like if that even is an end goal for people, it's insane to me to like have this like purity mindset around creating
Mm-hmm.
when you're leaving the opportunity to build the skills of like being visible, of sharing your thoughts, of like maybe failing, of selling, of like putting your stuff out there and seeing what happens on the table. That's like insane to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I think something that goes hand in hand with that is like you kind of pointed to it. It's like waiting for the perfect time. It's like, well, if I don't have 8 hours a day to write a book, then I shouldn't even start.
hmm
Like you can write a book in 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It might
I
take a little
literally
longer.
I literally have a client who we worked together for maybe like 6 months, maybe even just 3 months. I don't remember. But she came to me with like full writer's block. We built a method for her that like kind of circumvented that felt easy.
Hmm?
She wrote a novel for 5 minutes a day. It's now published in bookstores. It's like won a bunch of
So
awards. It's
good.
like amazing.
Yeah.
And she did that in 5 minutes a day.
Yes.
These tiny
Yeah.
actions can be absolutely incredible, lead to incredible results.
Yeah. And I think when we're talking about like business owners, coaches, people with lives, like that is the method. That is the creative process. It is
Hmm.
amazing. Like I've gone on writing retreats and spent 4 or 5 days just like writing, looking at the ocean or looking at the mountains. Like that's gorgeous. So much fun. I get a lot of work done over Zoom hosting co-working sessions too. I get a
Yeah.
lot of work done sometimes in the middle of the night when I cannot sleep. I get up and I'm like, no, I'll just write a little bit. I'll write about what's on my mind. It may never be in the next book, but it's like letting your creativity fit into your life. And I think that that's like not making it separate from the other things you're doing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, to the person who wrote in more directly, because it does seem like they were sort of making their creative pursuit separate from their client work. I think that is actually a really interesting prompt almost for them to like what if that's like the creative challenge they can use for inspiration for some content of like, I'm tired, I have like 10 clients a day, and afterward I feel like nothing. How do I create something
Yeah.
with that? And like you could even write on that. Like
Just
that's
about
an
that.
interesting project
That's a
that would
great
be
post.
helpful. That's a great post. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people would be interested in that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like, how do I create this beautiful, pure 2 hours where I
Mhm.
have like serene music playing in the background and my kids don't bother me and like it's sunny and warm and amazing and I'm inspired and the muse operates through me. It's like literally, okay, the kids are screaming in the background and I'm pretty tired and I'm hungry also and like dinner needs to be made and I have to figure that out. And also I want to create something.
Yeah.
I'm committed to that. So, like, how do I make that work with those ingredients? I think that would be fascinating and
Yeah.
very, very helpful.
Yeah. And I think that's also like the fun part for business owners that a lot of people miss is like it does not always have to be polished and about like you as the business owner winning at the world. Like if you're a coach, that's going to scare people. That's going to scare people if you're in your power suit with your lipstick being like better than everybody else all the time. It's
Yeah.
amazing to celebrate yourself and show your success. I think all of that is needed in the world. But like talking about the realities of what you do to the people that you are serving, if it's situationally appropriate, of course. So we've talked about that. Um, I think that that makes you actually more trustworthy in the eyes of your people, especially in this age that we're in where like you really have to question every single video you see, every
Oh,
picture,
God.
every post. Like it could just be AI slop. It might not be real. This might not even be a business. This might not even be a person.
Ah.
So it's like it's crazy, but I think it's as scary as I do find a lot of that. You know, I do use AI for some things, but like not that. um, I think it's actually really good news for those of us who are like our creative output is tied to our work because then you actually get to make real connections with people who need to hear what you have to say and need the tools that you're creating from your life experience.
Yes. Hmm. What do you think like the biggest challenges are for, let's say, new business owners figuring out like how to carve out some space for creativity in relation to their business?
I mean, I think the one that we've talked about a little bit, it is really terrifying, I think, for new business owners who maybe have come out of a world where, they went to school and someone told them what to do and what the expectations were. They had maybe a corporate job where their KPIs were all outlined and someone was telling them what needed to be done in order to
Mhm.
get a gold star at their job. Um, Being a business owner, it's so exciting, it's so inspiring. Um, but the moments that are hard, when you kind of are sitting there and you're the one that has to figure out how to generate next quarter's revenue, and maybe you feel blocked or you feel scared or things haven't been going the way you wanted to do that. And I think it's very hard to bring creativity online when you are looking at some of the harsh realities that we face as business owners.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I know there are people who can create under pressure. I think that's a strategy a lot of people do learn if they haven't learned it. Um, but it's not generally, I have found personally, I can only speak for myself, but I found that generally for myself, creating from fear and worry is not going to be my most vision aligned work.
Hmm. Same. Nor
um,
is it going to be sustainable
it's not
for
going to be
me.
sustainable. Yeah. And it's probably not going to be something that I'm going to be excited about for the long term. Like I
Hmm.
can drum up something in a moment of panic, but then if I have to carry that on for 2 years, I'm probably not going to want to do it. And
Hmm.
that's a drain too. So I think like it might be figuring out how to intentionally like tune your mind into the big vision at the top of the mountain, even when there's a blizzard happening all around you. To talk about blizzards again. Like that is a skill that I think it's not an inherent skill, I don't think. I think it's something you kind of have to learn as you build your mountain muscles. And I mean, it sounds cheesy and people always roll their eyes, but it's like it does come down to like trusting yourself to be able to hear through the noise of all the experts who are telling you how it is, and all the clients who are not your best clients, asking for things that are not really what you do. Like I think it's creating a connection with the people that inspire you so much that you would be willing to write a book, put out a podcast, create a blog post. Like, I think a lot of times we think about business as being very one sided. And I talk about this a lot, but in my heart of hearts, I do think it is like collaborative. Even if my clients don't know it and they're not actively participating in this, when I think about somebody who needs something, that is often, even if it's just in my own imagination, the energy I need to get out there and do it.
Yeah. I think what you raised there is so important. That you didn't use this term, but I think of it as like high stakes. Like creativity does not thrive under high stakes environments. In my experience, creativity thrives under play, under support, under curiosity, under exploration. So if you are telling yourself that your entire future career rides on the success of a single Instagram post,
Mm-hmm.
of course you're going to feel blocked. Like
Mm-hmm.
anybody would feel blocked under those conditions. So something that I very intentionally work on with my clients is like I help them first of all separate the act of creating from the act of sharing. Because some
Mm,
people have a lot of drama over sharing, it brings up its own stuff.
yeah.
But when you separate, just the act of separating those two things can feel very relieving for people and can help them at least take small steps toward creating when they're like very intentionally. And that might literally look like them being like, I'm not going to pressure myself to share this with anyone. I'm just going to spend 5 minutes writing for
Yeah.
now. And then I can make decisions about what, if anything, to do with it. That can be enough to like get the dam flowing, like build some momentum. Um, but yeah, I think like as much as possible, if you're struggling with creating, if you're feeling paralyzed or blocked around it, take a look at like what stakes you've placed on taking
Mm,
this action and play around with the idea of removing that pressure.
mhm.
And I'm not saying those stakes aren't there. You have rent checks to like mail. Of course, you're human. And also, like, maybe we don't have to make that all like your future livelihood depend entirely on what sentences you write in the next 30 seconds.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you actually just pointed to something that I think probably would help to say more often. I think sometimes we get struck by inspiration, and sometimes it feels like you have to pay for that with like taking a big leap. Um, a phrase I've started to really despise in the last few years is like when people talk about going all in. They're like, it only
Mhm.
counts if it's hard, and it only counts if it go all in. That is a way of putting a lot of pressure on yourself before you really know what you're doing. I can't
And of
switch.
course, it's never defined what all in actually means.
No, it usually means taking a big, stupid leap before you actually know what you will need to know to make this work.
Right.
And I feel like it's been used as like a pressury sales tactic by a lot of industries, ours included,
Hmm.
um, to make people feel like if you don't put all your eggs in this basket, if you don't jump ship and become a full-time writer and a full-time this, a full-time that, you're not really serious.
Which is such a like privileged paradigm as well. Like some people can afford to do
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
safely. And like I think a lot of the people who are telling people to do that are those who
Mm-hmm.
have like a partner that they can rely on financially or
Mm-hmm.
like a little nest egg. Yeah, sorry. That's
No,
like
it's
that's
true. I mean,
it's so frustrating.
it's very, very hard. I'll say this too as a business coach because I think sometimes people come to me with like shame around this. They're like, "Well, I still have a full-time job." And I think about one of my like most successful clients. We spent she spent 6 months in a job she really hated until it became clear to her that her business could hold and create a better lifestyle for her.
Mm.
She's stuck with something in an environment that was like pretty awful. I don't use the word toxic very often or lightly, but I'm like, if something was toxic, it was that workplace. From everything she told me and went through. Um, and yet it didn't feel I mean, she probably could have quit her job the moment we started working together because she just was, she's an entrepreneurial genius. Like she's great. But it didn't feel safe enough to bank on her business until she hit a specific like financial threshold. And
Hmm.
I think that a lot of people, again, in this theme of like your creative process, if it is all or nothing, if it's all in, and you're treating your business like some expression of your work in the world and the impact you want to have, I think most people are doing a big disservice when they just like take that huge leap without having the preparation, the support, and the buildup that they might need.
Hmm.
Because, as you know, owning your own business is very hard. It's fun sometimes,
What?
it's amazing. But like, especially those first couple of years when you are generating everything, the steep learning curve of like figuring out how to run a website and do the back end and onboard a client and customer service and all of the things that you never thought you would have to do as a business owner. If you don't feel like you have what you need to survive and ideally thrive, it is very hard. And I just wish in general that like sales psychology people would stop telling folks that they have to like go all in
Yeah.
on their creativity, on their business, on like whatever.
Yes. We
I
are
don't think it
fans of
breeds
like
creativity. Yeah.
tiny doable steps here.
Right. Right.
And I think like imagine if you were like, I'm gonna go all in on my child. And that's gonna look like me rooting for that, like quitting my job. So I won't be able to like put food on the table, but like I will be able to follow them around school all day, every day, and like cheer for them at the school assembly. Like that would be so
Oh my gosh.
crazy.
Yeah. The
But I
only way
think
you
that,
could do
I mean,
that is if you had someone else paying the bills for you.
right. If not, you would be like literally like there's something psychologically going, like you would be an unfit parent if you were like, this is
Ah,
how I'm going to take care of my child. They're
yeah.
going to believe that I love them a lot
Do you
because
need
I'm
a
going to
pencil,
spend a lot
honey?
of time with
Let me
them.
sharpen your pencil. Mommy's here.
Maybe you can eat some of the pencil shavings because I don't have enough money to like make you a peanut butter sandwich. But
Yeah.
that's kind of what it sounds like. Like when people are pressured to go all in on their creative project and they're told that if they don't do that, somehow they're like not believing in themselves or their skill hard enough.
Right.
I think that parallel kind of works. Like you,
Yeah.
an argument could be made that you're taking care, you're going all in on your future by creating a safety net
Mhm.
for yourself, by like taking a moment and building infrastructure so that you won't be out of business in a year because like, oh wait, you actually can't afford to pay the rent.
Because you ran out of money, and as you were running out of money, you were freaking out and couldn't actually access the big vision and all the inspiration that you had in the first place that would have supported you to be able to speak directly to the clients you want to call in. And I do think that
Yes.
trips people up. I've watched so many amazing like coaches specifically close their doors because they sank everything into having a coaching business, but then also not letting themselves be creative because they were like, this is the expert formula that I have to follow.
Hmm.
And I have to be polished on Instagram and I have to put
Hmm.
out 18 TikToks a day instead of actually creating tools and honing my skills as a coach so that I can support my people.
Yes. I think what you identified is, I think, a very powerful question to ask if you are someone who's wanting to be creative, but like maybe you're feeling freaked out or overwhelmed or like in a lot of pressure to put food on the table or like, there's a lot, like the stakes feel very high. Rather than focusing on what do I want to create and how do I force myself into writing the book or like getting the client. What if your creative project was like creating conditions under which your creativity could thrive?
So good.
And that might involve some creativity on your part, but it also might involve creating more safety in your life or like more space in your life.
Oh, I have chills all over. Like that is the question. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that is a gift. That is like, how do you create the supportive container that can
Hmm.
hold your life so that if you want to write a book, maybe you have to first create the conditions to get the 5 minutes a day, the 20 minutes a day, whatever
Right.
it is. Um, that is actually probably going to require even more creativity than the art.
Yes, that is a form of
Mhm.
creativity.
It really is. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're building the muscles of creativity and scrappiness and like experimentation and play along the way. You're just doing it in a project that's like building infrastructure for you to be creative in the long term. And that's not to say like I find myself sometimes getting a little bit perfectionist about this. So like that's not to say you have to have the perfect conditions under which to create. Like the world, there's a long history of people who've created in very turbulent times where there was not material safety around them.
Mhm.
And also, if that is like I think these can operate in conjunction. Like creativity can be a force of like energy and fuel and beauty in your life when you're struggling. And also, we can be looking at ways to support the creative impulse and create safety for that.
Yeah. So well said. Yeah. Oh, this was so much fun. I hope that the person that asked this question got some ideas about how to maybe recreate or reshape the creative process based on like what you and your life actually need.
Mhm.
Um, and I just appreciate all of your insights on this because it's very fun and very rich. And I think that this is some of the most healing work we can do for ourselves is like create.
Absolutely. And I do want to be clear, like I see you as much of a creativity coach
Oh,
as me, even though like I work with artists. I think entrepreneurs are artists. They're creating something from nothing. They're like in some ways because there's like a somewhat of a defined structure to entrepreneurship, meaning like I guess the goal is to like make money at some point. In some ways
hopefully.
that can be a more effective,
Yes.
like you're taking a lot of action
Yeah.
in that paradigm. So I think, yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I think having a business, you're believing in something that didn't exist before you. And
Yes.
you are a creator. Maybe it doesn't feel creative all the time, but you are definitely generating something. So, yeah.
I know we're out of time, but I also feel the need to just say
Yeah,
to
please.
this person who wrote in, what if your clients are also your creative projects? And
Yes.
like I think starting with acknowledging that and then figuring out how to turn up the volume on that might be a way of following ease through this. Like if you viewed, because they're already, if they have a full client load, they're already creating a lot with the clients in
Mhm.
that context. So even like starting there and amplifying it could be powerful.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I've decided never to believe in writer's block. And the way that
Ooh.
I do that for myself is I just think someone needs to see or hear something today. Like if I close my
Mm-hmm.
eyes and I tap into that, like if I'm feeling tired and I don't want to, maybe someone needs to hear some days you're tired and you don't want to. And like,
Mm-hmm. And
do we
here's how
need
I
to?
create space. Also, like even if you choose not to, like how you're creating space for yourself to
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah.
And some people might need to hear that as well.
A lot. I think a lot of people need to hear that. How was your drink?
Delicious. I drink it all. Now there's like the weird egg whitey foam, which I probably won't drink, but
No.
it was actually really good. How was yours? Did it get better as the
Yeah, no, it
ice
got
melted?
better. And the cherries are going to be delish. They're like spicy little
That sounds
cherries. Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. This
Hey,
was so
this
much
was so
fun.
fun. That flew by.
I know. Thank you so much. Feeling very creatively inspired. I hope people
Me
listening feel
too.
the same. And if they need some help with their writer's block or their art creation, how can people find you?
You're so good at these
I
segues.
know.
Please do not suffer in isolation. Please, I beg of you. Even if like I love tap consults with people, even if it's just like a one-off thing, I would love to help you work through it. So you can book a consult with me at coachingwithelena.com.
I will post that in
I
the
think
show
it's slash
notes.
consults, but I'm
Yes.
not sure.
I'll post it in the show notes for everybody. You
Great.
can find all things over at besuperbound.com/coaching mixer. And if
And
you think your
Erin,
business is not creative, I can help you with that. So you can
yes,
find out more about how to work with me there as well.
yes. Amazing.
So nice to see
All
you.
right. You
Thanks,
too.
everybody.
Bye, everyone. Stay warm.
Bye. Yes, stay warm.